your inside out, and you're gonna check and make sure that the length on your two sleeves is the same. So we have 1 3/4 here. The pin is where you actually want the finished length to be. And we have 1 3/4 on this side. And then I'm gonna take one of the sleeves and I'm just gonna fold it up to that 1 3/4 on the inside. And this one is heat proof, so you can just iron on top of this ruler. I got them off Amazon for like $2-3. Or you can use the old style of hem guide, those little metal ones, you know.
Mm-hmm. I have that.
So you just do it up to the 1 3/4, and I'm gonna pin this going all the way around. And because this is a wider ruler, I'm just gonna put a pin on either side of it. And then just keep going around.
Hey, Liz, can you jump over one block space?
Mm-hmm.
No.
And then down this underside, it might not be quite the full 1 3/4, and that's okay. Because you can see it kind of comes in at a V there.
Yeah, I wondered about that.
So I would even just do it straight across like that. So it'll be a little bit longer underneath, but you don't want to have a weird pucker in there.
Mm.
So that's step 1, is you're just gonna pin your sleeve like that.
Okay.
And then let me set up your sewing machine and I'll show you how we're gonna do the stitch. So your settings for your machine, you want it on a straight stitch. This is for doing knits. And you want it on your a longer stitch length. So this is a 4. You could go maybe slightly longer if you had a machine that did, but 4 is good. Tension is gonna be normal. Bobbin is normal.
Don't forget to grab it.
And we'll sew it. So this is kind of an arbitrary thing. We're gonna do 3/4 inch, and then we'll come back in and we'll do it again at 1/2 inch. So because this is stretchy fabric, we have our longer stitch that's gonna help it to have a little bit of give, and we're gonna stretch it just a tiny, tiny bit as we sew. And when I say a tiny bit, I truly mean a tiny bit. If you stretch it too much, then you'll get puckers and waves.
That makes sense.
And we're just gonna keep the fabric running along the edge of our 3/4 inch line here. So as we go, you're gonna see the edge of the fabric coming this way. We're not worried about this edge over here. We're gonna cut that off at the end. I like to cut off my threads as I go so that I don't have like threads getting caught.
Cut up. Mm-hmm. I do that as well.
And then when I get back around, I'm just gonna go over those stitches and then back stitch real quick. Make sure your take-up levers at the top. That'll keep your thread in your machine from unthreading. So that's our first one. And it'll give just a little bit of stretch because we stretched it. And then we're gonna go around one more time, 1/4 inch towards the edge of your, which you can even just stick it right along the edge of your foot here, your first row of stitching. And you're just gonna run around one more time. When I run around this second time, I go ahead and pull it to whatever I pulled it the first time. So I pull until it's kind of tight, because the stitches aren't gonna let me pull it more than what I did the first time.
Right.
Make sure take-up levers at the top. My pins are magnetic from my little pin cup. And then on the outside, you just have these 2 rows of stitches
Maybe they'll drop it
like this.
Okay.
And then we'll cut off the extra. So I love rotary cutters. You can also do this with just a pair of scissors. So I take it and I lay it, I make sure that the folded part is on the inside. So there's only 1 layer of fabric right here.
Mhm.
And I just take and I cut close to that row of stitching. You can do this with scissors too. You just want to get close to where that last row of stitching was.
Right.
Because it's knit, it's not gonna unravel. You don't have to worry about that aspect.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a nice thing.
I don't have much experience with a rotary cutter yet.
I love rotary cutters. They're so nice for cutting things and give nice smooth cut lines. You don't end up with like the jagged edges that you get with scissors. And then that's your hem. That's the outside and that's the inside.